freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves, 603-283-6160. That's the call-in line. You can talk about anything that's on your mind, 603-283-6160. With you in the studio tonight, it's Aria.
And Conan.
And the captain.
And we do have a new camera here in the studio that is not working as I would like. There's something weird going on with it. Very weird.
It's got a stutter, huh?
Yeah, very weird stutter. But I'm working on it, and
The
we will
camera's
get
got
that
a speech
sorted out.
impediment.
It's also giving out audio, and that's not correct. Let me go ahead and just get rid of that.
Audio.
So anyway, with you in the studio tonight, it's Aria.
It's Conan.
And the captain.
I think I
again.
just did that, didn't I?
This is what happens
do it
when
3
you're
or 4
doing,
more times
you're
if you
clicking
want.
buttons, you're turning us, you're switching the show on.
It's
You're also
Groundhog
playing
Day.
around with a camera, and you're trying to have a conversation with your listeners.
Because I don't.
Are you really here?
No.
Hey, Aria,
Hey, Captain.
who's in the studio today? I bet you the listeners are curious who's in the studio today.
Well, hopefully they know by now that we've gone over it twice, or a third time if you guys would like.
No.
Not me either.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, so new studio. Hopefully it's going to be less twitchy now. I said new studio, new camera.
New camera.
I'm doing.
We don't mind Twitch. It's fine.
I'm doing admin work because otherwise I will be here at the studio after we're doing it, and I have other things I need to be doing that.
Yeah, wine, campfire.
Well, I'm actually. I mean, that was not realistic.
Did you ever get around to it? And I hope you didn't. Did you install Gothic 3?
Of course not.
Good, thank you for that. Did you watch a YouTube video professing his nostalgic memories of Gothic 3, and now I don't like it anymore because it's 2021 and there are much better things out there and much better things to do, including music
That's
or
right. Don't you
fixing
normally
things.
have like a game thing, game of the week or something?
I don't actually. Johnny Ray was a game of the week, but he was playing like the apps and stuff. When I play a game, I get my money's worth.
No, but I mean on the show, don't you usually have a something of the week?
Actually, it's more like a game of the every 3 months because that's about how long it takes
That
me
is about
to
right,
get
yeah.
down to the nitty gritty. And the game that I'm playing currently is Enderall. It's a Skyrim total conversion mod.
You're speaking Greek to me.
Most people out there besides the captain know what Skyrim is. It's been out for a long
Hold on.
time.
You don't know what Skyrim is?
I've seen the game, but I've never played it.
I actually don't miss it. This game, this total conversion is done such a great job. I'm about 40 hours in. I don't miss Skyrim at all. I never really liked Skyrim. I never really liked it. I never liked the voice acting. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the plot. I thought it was all kind of hokey. This game has taken this engine, the Skyrim engine, and it's really captured me. And speaking of Gothic, Aria, it uses a lot of the same skills, not skills, but the same, it uses the same talent tree, basically, the way this skill attributions. And surprise, surprise, it happens to be also made by a German company, which I guess makes sense. I'm thinking the Germans, they have a mindset when it comes to their gaming. And this really shows through as very Gothic-y. So I definitely recommend it. If you need to play something, I know you got a full plate, but for the listeners out there who want to get back into the to the huge world with lots of characters, the open world where you can just kind of roam around and do whatever, that's where it's at, and it's free. Hey, you own Skyrim? This is a free mod, and definitely recommend it. Do we have a caller?
We do, but let's carry on with something while I try to fix this
real
thing.
quick. I want to, because we've been talking about censorship. I don't know who Steve Cortez is, but he has a Twitter account at Cortez Steve, Curtes, and then Steve. According to a tweet from somebody else, Twitter has suspended at Cortez Steve for citing a Stanford study about masks. Here is the actual tweet. Face masks are dirty, dehumanizing, and ineffective. Stanford University study, quote, the data suggests that both medical and non-medical face masks are ineffective to block human-to-human transmission of viral and infectious disease such as SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19, unquote. And then there's a link to the actual study.
This makes sense. We've been saying this for a whole year.
Now, this goes on to say, we determined this tweet violated the Twitter rules specifically for violating the policy on spreading misleading and potentially harmful information related to COVID-19.
And this was from a Stanford professor who linked a study, and the study conflicted with...
Oh, is he a Stanford professor?
Isn't that what you said?
I have no idea who this guy is.
Okay.
Steve Cortez.
Is he a Fox News guy?
I don't know where I heard Stanford professor.
Well, it's a Stanford University study that he is quoting.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? And his
That's
his Twitter account was suspended for citing this Stanford study about the masks. Now, in the Stanford study, it says the data suggests that both medical and non-medical face masks are ineffective for the transmission of SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19, quote unquote. So he's quoting an actual Stanford University study. He's provided a shortened link. It's a https://t.co, / whatever. So it's a shortened link to the actual study itself. But then Twitter goes on to say, we've determined this tweet violated the Twitter rules specifically for violating the policy on spreading misleading and potentially harmful information related to COVID-19.
Misleading. Yep.
So apparently a Stanford study on the ineffectiveness of masks is misleading information that will get your Twitter account suspended.
I'm not terribly surprised to hear that. I'm not allowed to use Twitter, but I did receive an email from them recently informing me that I have been suspended from their platform. No idea for how long, but it was because I kept going on to Chris Sununu's Twitter and calling him a fag in replies. And eventually Twitter had enough of that, or he reported it or whatever, because he is a sensitive little fag.
Free speech. I mean, come on.
Snooze. Wow.
Yeah.
And the worst part about this is when they do this, there's a whole segment of the population who don't get their news from anywhere else, who are not going to see these ideas. They don't get to see that there are others. There are Stanford studies out there that will actually have a different idea than CDC or WHO. So when they have a conversation with me at work or whatnot, and I'm like, yeah, these are the numbers, and they're like, where are you getting those numbers? Mm-hmm. I'm like, from the CDC. It's on their page. If you actually go through the data, it says outright, 500,000 people have died. 8% of them actually had COVID, or only COVID.
Right.
And everything else was, something else and COVID.
Right.
And they're like, well, where did you get that information? Well, CDC. Well, who covered that? Yeah. Somebody who's not on YouTube, somebody who's not on Facebook or on Twitter, because they're not allowed to, because as soon as they do, some guy like Cortez here, they take them down.
Right.
So, I mean, talk about red flags. This is exactly what we were talking about in the last segment about censorship.
Yes.
If you take these things down, I immediately see red flags. I'm like, why can't we talk about this?
Yeah.
What are you trying to hide?
And let's just say that this study is wrong. Why should he be prevented from publishing a quote from the study?
Debunk it. If it's wrong, debunk it.
603-283-6160. This is Free Talk Live.
Carl Watner, longtime proponent of a voluntary society, died last